Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam, rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to welcome to our program here at Sharjah Media Corporation. Doing good, and we hope by Allah's mercy and grace that you're among those people who are receiving the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that good that is coming to you, that you're generating it and inviting others to it. And we've been talking about paradise, but today we're going to start talking a little bit about, hellfire, because we need to understand something about that also. And of course, it's important for us to try to do the things to avoid it. And Bukhari reported from Anas bin Malik, the Prophet said more or less, some people will be brought out of hell after the fire has touched them for a while. They will enter paradise, and the people of paradise will call them Jahannam. And Muslim reports from Abu Hurairah in the description of the hereafter, and when Allah has finished judging mankind and wants to bring whoever he will out of hell by his mercy, he will order angels to bring forth those upon whom he wishes to bestow his mercy, of the people who never associated anything in worship with Allah, and who said, La ilaha illallah, there's no God but Allah, there's no God worthy of worship but Allah. The angels will recognize them in hell and will know them by the mark of sujood on their foreheads, meaning they're people who were praying, prostrating. The fire will consume all of a man except for the mark of sujood, which Allah has forbidden for the fire to consume. They will be brought forth having been burned in the fire. The water of life will be poured on them, and they will grow like seeds left by silt after a flood. And it's reported in one hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring forth from hell whoever has a dinar's weight of faith in his heart, or even a half a dinar's weight, or even an atom's weight. Moreover, people will be brought forth who never did any good deeds at all. And Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported, the Prophet said, Allah will admit the people of paradise to paradise, and he will admit whosoever he will by his mercy. And he will admit the people of hell to the hell. And then he will say, look for anyone who has a weight of a mustard seed of faith in his heart and bring him out. It's collected by Muslim. So we see, because people say, well, why did Allah create hell? And why did he create paradise? Why couldn't he just create us all to go to paradise? Or why couldn't paradise be on this earth and we just continue living? This is by Allah's choice. We need to understand, and we need to correct this in our understanding, that Allah is the creator and sustainer of all things. He is not to be questioned. And what has happened due to our arrogance, and many of us think because of our intellect that we can question Allah. And of course, this, is the highest level of ignorance. So we need to understand our status in relationship to our Creator and put that in the proper perspective and understand that it's by Allah's mercy that we have this understanding. And the people who choose other than this, then their abode will be hellfire. But we're looking at the people who will come out of hellfire that they had the minimum atom's weight of faith, that they still will come out of the hellfire, and this is the mercy of Allah. So what about a person who just defiant? I don't believe in God, I believe in myself, man. I don't believe in anything, just me. Or I just believe in reason and what's rational. If it's not rational to me and I don't believe in it, forget about it. I don't accept it. So what about these people? What about these extreme people? What about the people who are murderers and rapists, thieves and killers who have no remorse? Tyrants who millions of people have been killed just on their orders. What about these people as an example? The people who deny, even the people who are suffering, they're in the most difficult circumstances in their society, but they're still in denial about their Creator. What about them? And of course, we don't wish any harm for anyone, but we know that the worst sin a man can commit is to associate partners with Allah, or to say that he doesn't believe in Allah. Allah doesn't exist. He believes in himself, or he believes in nature, or he believes in just what's rational. And of course, what's rational to who? To him. So we look at it, this is Allah's judgment, not ours. And people commit other sins which are horrible things to do, and they can be forgiven for those things. But this one, no. So we need to understand that, and we try to, like, for lack of a better description, hammer this theme home to everyone that's out there. Get yourself together now before the time is up. Look in front of you. Look at what's happening in the world today. Think about it. People say, well, you know, this has happened before. Yes, it has happened before. But you're going to watch closely and you're going to see, if you pay attention and if you're aware of what has happened before, you're going to see the increase in the evil in a way which we've never seen before. And of course, this is in the signs of the last days. So the person who is trying to do good, trying to obey the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this particular time, the reward for him is greater, because people are calling to all kinds of things and they're committing all kinds of acts which we haven't seen before. Sure, there's been wars before, there's been killing, there's been rapes, there's been murder, there's been theft. All of these kinds of things have happened historically and continue to happen. But we are of a society now which is an informed society. We have more information, we have more educated people than ever in history. There's more communication between nations. The world has shrunk. This is distinctly different than any other time in history. But yet and still, we find that this regression to barbarism, for lack of a better description, and that regression, if you look at it, what is the cause? The ultimate cause is a lack of faith, that people are going away from the belief in God, and they're doing whatever they want to do based on man-made theories and concepts. And as a result of that, we're suffering the consequences of these actions. So take time out right now, whatever your condition is, and turn to your Lord while you have time. The time is going to run out for all of us, and we need to pursue the reality now. In Jabir ibn Abdullah reported concerning the hellfire, then intercession will be permitted, and they will intercede until whoever says La ilaha illallah and has a barley's grain worth of goodness in his heart will be brought forth. They will be made to stand in the courtyard of paradise, and the people of paradise will start to pour water over them until they begin to grow like seeds left by silt after a flood. All trace of the fire will disappear. Then he, the person who was brought out of hell, will keep asking until he is given the equivalent of this world and 10 times it. And it's collected by Muslim. These are the last people taken out of hellfire. The last man coming out of hellfire. His paradise will be 10 times greater than this world. Imagine the last man coming out of the hellfire. And this is a man who was a sinner. So I ask you out there, whatever it is that you're believing in, which is contrary to the belief in one God, and accepting the fact that Muhammad ﷺ is the prophet of Allah, is it the reward been promised like this? Do you see really realistically that a sinner could be forgiven and his paradise can be like this? Not that we want to be in this condition. We don't want to go to hellfire. But I'm talking about hellfire because it's real. And many people says, well, man, you know, I'm a sinner. I'm doing different things like that, brother. You know, so I guess, you know, I just be one of the people of hell. Don't submit yourself to that. Don't submit yourself. Qualify yourself and try for the best. And that, of course, is for those, paradise, the highest level of paradise. Strive for that. Do we strive for the lowest position in our society? Who does that? Nobody does that. You want the most money, you want the most knowledge, you want the best job, you want the best house, all of these things. This is common with mankind. So why is it when it comes to our hereafter that we become lazy or in some ways just ill-informed and we accept it? We don't check it out. We don't cross-reference it. He says, well, you know, I've been taught this by a child. My parents, maybe your parents are wrong. Doesn't mean they're bad people. I'm not saying that. But they're ignorant. They're following their parents and their relatives and their nation and your tribe, as an example, and whomever it is that's misleading them, purposely or due to ignorance. So does it mean that we should follow that? No. If you have an important opportunity for enlightenment, don't you think that you should choose this enlightenment? Should you stay in the dark? If I offer you a light, we say, no, I like it pitch black. I'll just stay in the dark forever. Does that make sense? Is that rational? No. Nobody in his right mind would do that. So similarly, if we're talking about our hereafter, we need to understand this condition, that Allah's promised the believers paradise. Simple. The question is, what do we need to do? And Anas bin Malik reported the Prophet said, whoever says, La ilaha illallah, there's no God but Allah, no God worthy of worship but Allah, and has a barley grain's weight of goodness in his heart, will be brought out of the fire. Then whoever says, La ilaha illallah, and has a wheat grain's weight of goodness in his heart, will be brought out of the fire. Then whoever says, La ilaha illallah, has an atom's weight of goodness in his heart, will be brought out of the fire. This is collected by a Muslim. So we need to look at this. Now, you know, we don't want to be in the fire. So we want to be among those people who are the foremost by Allah's permission. But we need to understand that, subhanAllah, this is again Allah's mercy. And the Prophet ﷺ said more or less, whoever dies will be shown his position in paradise or hell, morning and evening. And Muslim reports from Ibn Umar, the Prophet ﷺ said, when any one of you dies, he will be shown his position morning and evening, even if he is one of the people of paradise. Then he will be one of the people of paradise. If he is one of the people of hell, then he will be one of the people of hell. And he will be told, this is your position until Allah resurrects you to it on the day of resurrection. This is collected by a Muslim. So this means in the grave that a person will see his place. May Allah have mercy on the believers. I mean, just think about this. In the grave, you will see, you know, your next destination, whether it will be paradise or hellfire. Think about it. Because a lot of people don't want to think about this now. They want to just be out of sight, out of mind, figure, well, I'll deal with it when I come to it. I'll just close my eyes right now and everything is okay. I'll be blind. No, this is foolishness. This is ignorant. This is childish. Why would we do this? Now is the time. Now is the time to do good deeds and actions. Now is the time to put in storage your actions for the hereafter. This is the insurance policy, and there's no insurance policy, but this is your, let's say, bank account for the hereafter. Now, while you're living, you have to make this effort, concerted effort to always think about, well, I'm going to leave this world. I need to sin as much as I can ahead of me. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said more or less, all that you own belongs to someone else, except that which you have used or that which you have sent ahead of you. Meaning, as we well know, when a person dies with his property and everything, somebody else is going to have it one way or the other. Fine, if you wrote it in a will, still someone else is going to have it. So think like that now and prepare yourself. And the other side of this is, don't spend all of your time being concerned about this world. Spend your time thinking about your hereafter. Prepare your grave. Just as we said, in the grave, the person will see his place in hellfire or paradise. You cannot see that now. When you cross over, you will see. So now, send what you can ahead of you. Send provision, for lack of a better description, obedience to Allah, begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his mercy, striving to do righteous deeds and actions ahead of time, doing everything that you can possibly do to send ahead so that you have something by Allah's mercy that will be beneficial for you in that time. And this is how we should be thinking. Not caught up in the things of the world where we become trapped in pursuing the things of the world and these things drowned us. So we have no consciousness or awareness or focus, and some people no belief in the hereafter. So we become locked into this world. And of course, this is for a person that wants to lock himself into this world, fine, that is personal business. But for him to impose on others and attempt to influence others that, well, you know, this is the end of the world for you, brother, and this is it. Nothing after this, so this is your heaven and hell right here. So just do whatever you can do right here that make this your heaven. And anything that works is okay. This is foolishness, man. This is foolishness. We don't have any prophet who said anything like this. Never would they say this. So we have been told to plan for your hereafter. What is the plan? establish your prayers, establish your fasting, reading of the Quran, doing good deeds and actions, giving charity, teaching and learning and teaching what you know about Islam. These are the actions of the people of paradise. These are the things that will benefit you in the hereafter. Being kind to your family, kind to your parents, kind to your relatives, kind to your neighbors, helping those in distress. I mean, all of these things are huge rewards for the believer in this world and hereafter. So we believe in these things. And these are the things when we say about doing good, these are things which are consistently good. They haven't changed. Since the beginning of time, the benefit is the same. It's relative. We understand it. We say doing good, this is what we're talking about, being good and doing good. We're talking about sending things ahead of us that will benefit us. This is light. This is light. We call it nur in Arabic. This is what we're sending ahead of us. We're trying consciously to do what Allah be pleased with. Wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. So let's think about what is our particular condition. Where do I stand presently? If the angel of death comes and takes my soul today, what will be my condition tomorrow? Or for that matter, today? What will be my status? We need to understand that, put it in perspective, meaning wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, think about this. I'm going to leave this earth. I don't know where it will be. I don't know when it will be, but I know I need to have sent as much provision ahead as possible. And I believe in the necessity of that provision, but I believe ultimately that my success is only based on the mercy of Allah. And I seek Allah's mercy regularly. I ask Allah for forgiveness for my sins. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept my good deeds and forgive me for my bad deeds. And similarly, we wish the same for our viewers, the believers who are out there, that Allah have mercy on you, keep you on the straight path. And those out there who have not accepted this path, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open your hearts and enlighten you with this truth for the sake of your own salvation. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to thank you for joining us here at Sharjah Media Corporation on doing good, and by Allah's mercy and grace, we wish good for all of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they all may be guided to the truth and be saved from the hellfire, and when we're talking about into the paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.